Hey everyone, welcome back. Sri Lanka, a journey of wisdom and spiritual awakening. A restlessness within me dares me to explore the hidden wonders of the world and the treasures of unique cultures. Traveling to distant places lights up a fire in me and I feel more energetic and thrilled. Spontaneous vacations with close friends is all you need in a humdrum routine life. So my friend, the sensitive lawyer, was a travel planner, so she booked hotels and excursions. We both loved historical monuments and ruins, so all she needed was a little coercing for beach cities and water zodiac sign. Like me, who likes being around beaches and waterfalls, which has a very healing effect. I was nursing my broken heart by running away from the usual routine life for a hopeful, short-lived romance abroad. So the lawyer was adamant to book her travel agent, so we got the visas and tickets fast as he was a mutual family friend. Now, as soon as we arrived at the airport, the local Sri Lankan tour guide greeted us with a smile, carried our luggage to the car, and there began the second adventure of my year. Since earlier that year, I had traveled to India, which was a very spiritual journey. We arrived late evening at a hotel which was right in front of the heart of the Colombo city and next to the famous Dutch hospital, where the souvenir shop LUVSL sold the most authentic peacock and turtle stone jewelry and an exquisite exotic food restaurant for local seafood, mainly crabs and lobsters, called Ministry of Crab. It was not just a popular eatery, it was actually owned by the Sri Lankan cricket team players who frequently visited their fans and tourists. Now the cafes, restaurants and shops were crowded with tourists from all over the world. Live rock band was playing some heartfelt songs and couples were seen dancing around. Quite a lively place next to the hotel, so we were both ecstatic. We dined there and headed straight to the nearby hotel nightclub. Opposite the beach, we ordered 2 cocktails and sat there when 2 local boys stared at us. Before we could even get up, the guards looked at them and asked for their identification, so they got intimidated and left abruptly. Now, our luck had already started getting better as with each passing hour, we felt fully connected with this new city. And as we walked past the hotels and we took pictures of the beach and felt the breezes on our faces, it was therapeutic and relaxing to be around the beach late at night. Walking in dresses, I felt freedom and happiness at the same time. This was the first enlightening experience, and as we went to bed later that night, I had a smile on my face. Next morning, we had a lavish breakfast and then headed to the city mall. Now, Love SL Mall had like beautiful floral dresses, bikini wear and jewelry at affordable prices. So the shopaholic in me got everything I needed for the trip and few gifts for my family and close friends. The dinner was exotic with like crabs and lobsters in Ministry of Crab with soulful music and friendly touristy crowd. Now next day we woke up really early because we had to travel to historical towns a little further down, and this road trip was fascinating with local coconut sellers on the road. It's roadside every few kilometers down the road. Also you will find like tropical fruits like pineapple, avocado, dragon fruit, freshly cut and for less than $1. So journey was ecstatic with like SLFM playing the latest rock and pop music. Our driver slash tour guide was like quite shiny and friendly as well. My childhood friend and lawyer always had intriguing questions and he, kept him busy the whole ride. So the ride was quite comfortable and, I never felt disconnected or I never felt unsafe in even in those small towns. We were passing through small towns at that point in time. We were outside Colombo, and now the best thing that I liked about Sri Lanka is that you are always offered like a fresh fruit drink when you enter a hotel or a place. That's like the welcome drink. Now, our first destination was to climb the strenuous 1200 steps of Sigiriya Rock Fortress. It's called Sigiriya Rock, also known as the Lion Rock Fortress. It took us 3 hours to reach the top, but depending on your fitness, it could take longer. And this place is famous for its palace ruins on top of a 200-meter high rock surrounded by remains of an extensive network of gardens and reservoirs. It was built in King Keshav's reign. It was in 477 to 495 CE. It was one of the 8 World Heritage Sites of Sri Lanka and declared by the UNESCO as the 8th wonder of the world. So it's quite magnificent, and once you reach the top, the view is amazing. Our local tour guide ate the traditional Sri Lankan rice breakfast, and we both decided to eat the light English breakfast. But he climbed the rock in 1 hour, and it took me and my lawyer friend 3 hours. And he told us that this was like his 8th time, and he was doing the same to that year, and he was used to climbing, you know, that place. Now, another beautiful location that we went to was Nuvarelia. Now, Nuvarelia is like known as the Switzerland of Sri Lanka. Quite green and beautiful. It's a lovely honeymoon spot, I would say, because you know the hotel rooms are very cozy, and they're quite like modern and sophisticated. And the landscape botanical gardens are very famous in Nuvarelia, and they display like roses and tree ferns and shelter like monkeys over there. Now the weather drastically changes from hot and humid to cold to wear sweaters and jackets, like I said, and we had like a little fireplace in a 5-star hotel room. Early morning the next day, we had a trip planned to the densely forested Galway's Land National Park, which is very famous. It's a sanctuary for endemic and migratory bird species, and nearby Gregory Lake, a reservoir created in the 1800s, offers boating and horseback riding. Now, the countryside is dotted with waterfalls and long hikes. South of Nuvarelia, Horton Plains National Park occupies a high-altitude plateau and is home to sambar, deer and leopards. To the southwest, a trails climb pyramid-shaped Adams Peak, a pilgrimage place for several religions. So we actually ended up going to this Horton Plains National Park early in the morning, like 6 a.m. Literally, we had to wake up early. And instead of even taking our breakfast, we just we took they pick you up from the hotel room, and they take you to this national park where you basically hike downhill. Actually, it's not an uphill hike; it's a downhill hike, but it is a hike, and then you get to see like 5 to 6 waterfalls. It's a beautiful place, and it's quite cold in the morning. So we were obviously, by the time it's afternoon, by the time you've finished hiking, it's actually warm enough. And I would suggest do it because you will love you can take pictures of the waterfalls. You can actually see a clear rainbow over there as well. So the botanical gardens they were actually quite beautiful, and I love fresh flowers. So for me, it was like heaven, because you get to see so many different roses and so many different types of flowers, and you get to learn about them, and it's a completely different experience. And they're like they're beautiful, they're scented, and you see acres and acres of orchids, all types of orchids, because orchid is a tropical flower, and you will only find them in like Thailand, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, these type of places. And I love orchids, like I love purple orchids, and you will only find them there. And they were quite cheap also, so you can buy like a bouquet of pink or purple orchids or yellow orchids. Now the lake ride was chilly but uneventful, as our tour guide forgot to wear a jacket, like I said, and waterfalls were breathtaking and photographed the most. Now happiness is being around natural beauty and exploring the culture and tradition of a blessed land. From bustling city life to a more humble abode and a simple life is what my heart craves, as we for a few hours forgot about the material world and relaxed in a cozy world of natural wonders. Now, the Nuvarelia tea plantations and boutiques are famous and admired all over the world by tourists and locals. Now, for a moment, you will feel like you are in the English countryside and amidst the Swiss Alps. With gorgeous, thick, long trees and gardens of roses, it's like heaven on earth, literally. And when you visit a tea estate there and drink the delicious Earl Grey or apricot tea, You will love Sri Lanka for its beauty and flavors, and I have yet to taste anything better than that. So, and you can also buy them at these tea plantations. You know, you can actually purchase them for your home. And first you get to see how tea is picked from the plantations. So you go to the the tea picking area, and that is so much fun because you get to tea pick and take photographs over there. Then you get to see how it is being manufactured. And tea picking was fun, and it's adventurous. I bought like tea bags to last me a year, so you can like buy them at a very affordable price. And our next stop was a little village where the hotel was in the middle of nowhere, and with only 3 rooms, as tourists only stopped for one night over there. Now it was literally run by one person who was a receptionist, chef and waiter. And the medium-sized swimming pool was like the only entertainment like there. So we both dipped our feet in the pool and sat there for hours talking and chilling while we were exhausted from the road trip. Now, so the drive in any city of Sri Lanka is beautiful and peaceful as well as healthy, because there is a lot of variety of tropical fruits, especially coconut is widely available there. So you get to have coconut vendors. Then you have all of these vendors selling tropical fruits, like I said, avocado, jackfruit, starfruit, at minimal prices, dragon fruit. And so we got to experience, and they give it to you like, they chop it into pieces and they give it to you in a plastic little bag. So you get to eat fruit, so it's quite a healthy road trip, Yeah, and also you can buy dry fruits in certain areas. It's very famous for cashew nuts. So, you can, if you are a dry fruit lover, the dry fruits are quite cheap and really good quality. After a quick meal, and fell asleep watching TV in our cozy room, since we had an early morning planned trip to a famous temple and a heritage site. The next morning, our breakfast was served near the river adjacent to the hotel, and the morning view is so breathtaking. So we arrived at night and we couldn't see anything. All we could hear was like the river gushing through, because it's a forest. It's literally in the middle of the forest. We had the breathtaking view of the shrubs and the lush and green view. We decided to take some pictures while swinging on a big floral swing hung from an ancient tree. Now, after a long and tiring day at the heritage site and temples, we decided to head off to the magnificent lake hotel with a grand entrance and a luxurious pool and sidebar. Little heaven in the middle of Sri Lanka with spacious rooms and great room service. And the day was spent in ancient ruin sites. Now, those ancient ruin sites are a must-see. And you can have still photography amongst the ancient god statues. It was spiritual and enlightening as we devoured the enchanting tales of a different era. At night, all I wanted was to slip in a floral bikini and dip in the pool to relax my nerves and my feet with sips of cocktails. I think it was called the Lake Hotel, as far as I remember. And next stop was one of the world's known botanical gardens, and the Isela Perahera Festival. Now, the botanical gardens are like in the famous city of Sri Lanka, which is Kandy. Now, the Perahera Festival is like a march of 150 elephants in the famous Kandy city. And so basically, the Perahera Festival is about their culture and their tradition, and it happens once in a year, usually in August. You get to see all of the orphanage elephants there. So at this time, don't visit the orphanage because it's empty. And you get to actually see the march of those 150 elephants, and they're like decorated with like traditional cultural Sri Lankan wear, and there are people on them. There's like dances and the fire dances, and there's a lot to see. It's like actually it was a beautiful experience. I took a video of the entire festival, and it was a mesmerizing view. I mean, I have never seen anything like this before. And so for the botanical gardens, I mean, the elegant orchid optimizes the love, the beauty, luxury and strength, and you find yellow, purple and white orchids in every flower shop. So beautiful and so cheap, so you can buy flowers. But let me tell you one thing, you can only buy them and gift them in Sri Lanka, because by the time you come back from the flight to Pakistan, they will not last, because they will not last in this climate. Now, heaven doesn't cost a thing, and for me, this was heaven. Now, coming back to the Perahera festival, the Isala Perahera festival. Now, every summer, Kandy will host this festival, and this is also known as the Festival of the Tooth. The historical procession is held annually to pay homage to the sacred tooth relic of Lord Buddha, which is housed at the Sri Dalada Maligawa in Kandy. Now, our tour guide bought advance tickets for us for this festival, and we were lucky enough to attend on the last day of the festival. This is held in Azala, and which is the month that is believed to commemorate the first teaching given by the Buddha after he attained enlightenment. So Perahera means a parade of musicians, dancers, singers, acrobats accompanied by a large number of caparisoned tuskers and elephants parading the streets in celebration. Now, it was the most unique, soulful and memorable experience of my life. The next day was even more fun as we were busy shopping in Kandy for souvenirs. In a shop, I even again saw a march of the elephants walking down the streets from the glass window, since it was the end of the festival, and they were being transported back to the elephant orphanage, which is like home to wild and tamed hundreds of elephants. Now, I forgot to mention that we actually went to the orphanage, and we did end up like taking an elephant ride. It was like a huge elephant, and you know, it was this huge trunk, and we took lots of pictures and videos over there. Tourists can take a ride at the back of one of the elephants there. So we already did that before coming to Kandy, so we didn't really need to do that. But the march, every time you see like elephants marching on the streets, it's amazing. Like, you never get to see it, right? Like, I would never get to see that in Karachi. Now, my lawyer friend also arranged for a mini safari amidst another beautiful village in Sri Lanka. So, hotel had a spa service there and a nice pool next to the lake. And we had early morning English breakfast, and we headed in a jeep for our mini excursion into the wildlife. Now, I love wildlife safaris and hiking trips and waterfalls and beaches. You know, I'm like a nature lover. So this was like an amazing trip because it was everything. It was hiking to the Sigiriya fortress, beaches. I'm going to mention the beaches later. And then we have the, you know, we have the waterfalls, and we also have the wildlife safari. So we have everything combined in one trip. Now, this was my first safari experience, to be honest, and I was excited and a bit disappointed, as I was hoping for a wildlife adventure like, you know, Australia or Africa. But we only saw a few alligators and buffaloes, but no lions, tigers and giraffes were nowhere to be found. I got myself a nice foot massage from the spa and a pool dip, so that was amazing. And the food, I have to mention the food, Sri Lankan food. Now, if you're a seafood lover, you will get this amazing restaurants, even the local restaurants, where you get amazing tiger prawns, lobsters. The prawns are like bigger, the tiger prawns are bigger than the lobsters, and they're so yummy. They cook it in some Sri Lankan spice with coconut oil, and it's amazing. So like, we had seafood throughout our trip. We were both seafood lovers, and so we both loved eating, like, you know, prawns and lobsters and fish throughout our trip. And you even get to visit some beachy areas where you get to, they give you like fried fish in coconut oil, which is also very famous in Sri Lanka. But if you're not a seafood lover, good luck, because you don't get chicken over there that easily. They don't know how to cook chicken. It's very dry, and you don't get meat, and you don't get roti. So what basically, you get rice, you get breakfast, and you get seafood. So it will be a little bit difficult for someone who doesn't eat, you know, seafood. So our last destination is Hukaduwa. Now, Hukaduwa is like a golden sand beach with coral reefs and sea turtle hatchery. A small variety of turtles are reared and looked after in large tanks. It was adorable to see the turtle eggs being protected and looked after, and turtles are fed small fish at like feeding hours. They are one of the oldest reptiles ever, dating back to about 220 million years ago, and some of them actually live up to 200 years. It was a special treat for an animal lover like me to lift up baby turtles and cuddle them, and I saw like a hawksbill turtle with a left, you know, stump, a mishap from getting caught in a fishing net. Now, the beach was absolutely beautiful, and the snorkeling was a fun experience. And later on, we sipped cocktails and sat in the balcony of a sea-facing hotel room, and we discussed our entire trip with a tour guide. With, you know, we're just having a good last night. The end of our journey brought peace in my heart, and I was ready to go back to my hometown, sun-tanned and skinny from the sun and the long walks. So I would totally recommend these few places to visit Sri Lanka. Number one, Colombo. Colombo has amazing nightlife, amazing food. And if you have a very short trip, then you have to just see Colombo for 2 to 3 days. Second city that I would totally recommend is Kandy, and if you get a chance to see the Perahera festival, go for it. It is usually in the summers, and you have to check with the dates from your tour guide. And thirdly, the most amazing thing that I loved, I mean, I love the Sigiriya rock fortress as well, but I loved the the Norelia. Number one for the botanical gardens, number two for the waterfalls, and the weather and the climate. It's so gorgeous. And if you are going with your husband and you want like a small little honeymoon, I would suggest go to Colombo and go to Norelia, these two places. So hope you liked my video. If you did, please do like, share and subscribe. Take care.